The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. Brought to you by Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the process, Ksebe. Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. And Stateside Urban Craft Vodka, the official sponsor of the Corner 3 newsletter with Zoe, statesidevodka.com. On the show today, Joel Embiid and Seth Curry lead the Sixers to victory in Boston. Daryl Morey sends a love note to me with a 10-day contract. The Sixers go into partnership with a shell company from China, and my exchange with a former Sixers CEO. Before we get started, I mentioned Stateside. Oh boy. So Mike is in Philly, so this probably came to his house. You didn't get these before you left, did you? The Surfside? Oh, you're muted. I can't hear a word that you're saying.
But now.
There you go.
Great.
You go.
Well, so far so good. Drinking Black Label Bourbon, Stateside Zone.
Ah, there you go. Your volume sounds really loud.
Great.
Okay. It just sounds overmodulated, but whatever. Well,
we're figuring it out. We're in Philly.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, anyway. Stateside, he's drinking the Black Label Bourbon. They have a new product, which you can see if you're watching on YouTube, Surfside iced tea and vodka. Now, you might be saying, oh, there are other iced tea, like vodka drinks or whatever. Well, here's why Surfside is better. The other ones are carbonated. And iced tea is not supposed to be carbonated. So Surfside is not carbonated. Also, all these other ones have tons and tons and tons of sugars. They're like 200 some calories. Not Surfside, only 3 carbs, only 100 calories. And here's the best part. I tried it, and I was so excited when I told my wife, I'm going to have some right now. It's not like overly sweet. I feel like so many of these things are so like sweet, but this actually just tastes like iced tea. It is awesome. Surfside iced tea and vodka. You can only get it on the website right now, statesidevodka.com. You can't get it in stores yet. It will come. It comes in this amazing can. Thank you, Stateside, for sending us this. And the other thing, before we get going, happy 8th anniversary to Michael Shankman from your wife, Julie. 8th anniversary, right? Yes, 8th anniversary.
They said 8.
They are listeners, and I don't know what else about them other than they're listeners. And Julie, I guess, the first anniversary is glass, and the second anniversary is wood, and the third anniversary is aluminum. The 8th anniversary is a shout out on a podcast.
That's right.
So congratulations. We love you, even though we don't really know you, but it feels like we know you. Without any further ado, Amos and the Chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who is celebrating the Danny of the Year. Perhaps that is Mike Levin.
Boy, that really was.
It was so good.
The Danniest Danny that we've ever had. God bless him. Yes, I'm in Philadelphia.
There you go.
We are pressuring our family to wear masks and get tested as often as possible. It's very fun. Holiday season. But we're drinking both some Stateside vodka and the beer Alyssa didn't want to drink. So we're locked in.
I imagine you hiring a tester just to hang around the living room to test people every 10 minutes or so.
I totally would. If those were for sale, absolutely would. Because, we're hounding, 7-year-olds to take their tests. Very fun. Very fun. This is what we should be doing. We're having a great time.
They love it.
Adam Silver is here. He's having a blast. Everybody's doing great.
So before we get deep into the game, I want to stay on the Danny of the Year. So Danny Green in a close game. Danny Green, who love Danny Green, hit a big shot in that game. Danny Green has been an important part of the Sixers the last 2 years. Of course, dribbles the ball right out of bounds. Looks like he just had a stroke or something. Like he just stopped dribbling the ball. It looked like he thought he was going to get fouled. The interesting thing was that Jason Tatum did foul him.
Yeah, grabbed him from behind physically.
Now, it was after he had let go of the ball out of bounds.
Still a foul, though. The ball wasn't out of bounds when Jason had grabbed him. The ball bounced in bounds, and it hadn't landed out of bounds yet. So it should have been a foul. Very clearly should have been a foul. And they were just like,
the refs
that
are so
sucked
stunned.
too much
Yeah.
for us to award you a foul. You dribbling all alone out of bounds. So for people might have missed, the Danny of the game, or Danny of the year in this case, which I agree that it is basically Danny is a very solid, compact, good two-way player, older, later in his career, but still very helpful on both ends. And once in a while, he will just do a thing that his brain will leave his body entirely and watch as he makes the most bizarre mistake anyone has ever made. And he does that usually once a game. It averages out to once a game. Sometimes he doesn't do it. Sometimes he gets it a couple more. But it's very clear, on average, 1.0 times per game. And this time it happened after a pretty good game when he had a fast break to seal the game. Like, this was like, you could see him realize in the moment, like, I'm going to dunk. I'm going to ice this thing. We're going to be up, 5 or 6. And he just, for no reason, dribbled it out of bounds, then was bear hugged by a confused Jason Tatum, who should have just let it happen. And the refs were like, it's fine. It's off on you because that sucked.
Don't you think saying he dribbled it out of bounds is sort of overestimating what actually happened? He just stopped dribbling almost. I think what happened was he had three things going through his head at once. One, he's like, oh, they're going to foul me. But then the other thing he was trying to decide was sort of like...
It would have been a clear path foul, very clearly.
The other thing he was trying to decide was the Brian Mitchell. Like, the Brian Mitchell, should I dribble it out to the three-point line and make it take more time, or should I lay it up?
Yeah, or should I pass it to a fan, like, nearby? Unbelievable. It's so like those things, you know, sometimes, like, in fantasy movies or whatever, or any science fiction things where, like, the movie pauses and, like, one character can, like, do stuff, but everybody else is, like, frozen in place. It seemed like that happened, and the ball had just left him before it came back, and he was like, how did this go on? It is incredible how often he does this and how reliably he does this.
Yeah.
But we love him, and I love Danny. I would love to ask Danny about this. I would love to know his mindset, and I would want to know if he'd be offended by that, because he probably would be. But it really comes from a place of, like, I love Danny. I think he's very helpful to winning basketball games, but he does this, and it's happened a lot of times in his career. It happened very famously in the NBA Finals for the Lakers when he had a wide open, I think it was Markieff Morris, wide open. He decided to take a three. They ended up winning anyway, but he just does this, and I want to know what he thinks about it. But he won't. So, I think he'll be offended, so that'll be upsetting.
Yeah, I wish... I haven't watched that many different interviews with him. I'd love to get him on. But he doesn't seem like he's the kind of guy who could go, oh, yeah, that's me, like, my bad.
Maybe. Like, he does seem to make fun of himself. He seems to have a good humor about himself. He runs weird. I also run weird, so I would approach that from a similar place.
I'd love to have him on.
Yeah.
Sixers, if you're listening. So before we talk about the rest of the game, Mike, for the Apple Podcast 5-star review, we are at 2,995. So 5 more ratings, and I read all of the reviews on a podcast, maybe before 2022, from 2,000 to 3,000. This comes from Samuel Milligan. The subject line is, I still believe in Haywood Highsmith. So much depends upon a red wheelbarrow glazed with rainwater beside the white chickens. There you go. Looks
Some
like
poetry.
a poem. Yeah. So the Sixers win a game when they get 1 point from their bench, 1 whole point. A game that essentially was, because Tyrese Maxey was out, was like 2-man game the whole time. Like, it was in the beginning of the game, Tobias Harris was pretty hot, but then it was basically the Seth Curry and Embiid show. It was a great win. I mean, I love winning in Boston. This is the frustration of this team. Like, I think this is just what happens when a team only wins half their games, is that you go from a game where you would just rather do anything than ever watch them again, and you're sure that they're a lottery team, to a game like this where you're like, oh, shit, there's one of the 3 or 4 best players in the league is on the team, and Seth Curry hits from everywhere, or they can beat anybody. But I guess that's just sort of what it's like cheering for a team that has a great player but isn't that good.
Yeah, I mean, Embiid has had a tough season in as far as injuries and COVID goes, and also his mid-range just hasn't been there as much as it was last year. Yeah. But he was really locked in this game.
From a decision standpoint, too, I think as a passer, he was pretty locked in. And
yeah, for the most part, yeah. For the most part, very locked in as a passer. But, moved the ball well. It always baffles me when he holds onto the ball too long in the post and they allows the double to come and really harass him, basically, and that's frustrating. And I think the team as a whole was very unaware that Marcus Smart was going to try to jump every single pass, and they got burned by it a lot. And because Marcus Smart watches the Sixers also, and is like, these people play slow and very obvious where the pass is going to go. But it was overall a pretty good passing game. I love the way Joel found Matisse under the basket. I feel like Matisse doing that, he needs at least 2 of those a game. Like they ignore him, and he needs to have 2 wide open dunks per game when he just gets left because no one's covering him. But it's interesting. Like, I don't know. After the game, I was like, that game ruled. Embiid kicked ass. Seth was impressive. Tobias played well. Matisse did enough. Miles Powell played. We'll get to Miles Powell, obviously.
We will.
But it's in the moment watching this team. You're just like, I just don't believe in them at all in any way. And especially without Maxey and Shake in this instance, because everybody's out with COVID. Maxey with a quad, but it's not even though I can take joy in individual things, the team as a whole is so flawed that I am struggling with. I don't know if other people are as well, but I'm struggling with just finding
things to care
belief
about
in them on any other level. And I went into this season kind of knowing that and kind of being like, look, this isn't the season. They don't have Ben. They haven't made the trade yet. Let's just go in expecting whatever and see how the young guys improve. But because they're such a specific kind of frustrating, Tobias and Seth both shooting 3 for 3 from 3 and only taking 3-pointers each is maniacally upsetting. That there's a lack of it is inexplicable that is the case, that there are diagrams around. And there was a whole, I think I didn't listen to this, but people online did, and then I responded to it. George Niang was on JJ's podcast and said and they were talking about, Doc doesn't practice during the regular season. And it's they should. They should practice during the regular season. They should try to practice before a game or run through something, anything where they work on their offense, because Doc just going speed it up on the bench isn't working. It never works. It's not going to happen and their best offense right now is just Joel taking the ball and bringing it all the way up court and starting the post up, because everything else takes such a long time unless it's a maxi screen with him going right. There's just nothing else that they can do on a level that is quick and decisive. So it's interesting. But the game rule, they beating Boston in Boston is excellent. Especially with as shorthanded as they were. And I want to feel good about it, but the team frustrates me still to the point that I find it hard to enjoy them on any sort of pure level.
Yeah. Some games that they win, I'm I still don't feel winning in Boston is kind of fun. And but I agree with you on the whole. The thing about Doc not practicing, look, a lot of teams don't practice a lot during the year. There's just not a lot of time, and you want your players to heal. But he was known to cancel practices with the Clippers to go play golf. He did that. That's a thing that happened. Doc Rivers canceled practice in LA to go play golf. This guy, I don't think he's the biggest problem on the team. I don't even really care about the coach, but I just don't think he cares that much. I think he only takes frustration out of the team. I think he takes very little joy. I think that's why he is the way he is in press conferences. He's just irritated all the time. He's like, why am I doing this? I got to get a Q-tip up my nose every day. I'm 65 years old. I've made $100 million. I don't fucking need this. But it is $9 million a year. I don't know. I just think...
Is it $9 million a year?
Something like that. Yeah, because Daryl's making right around the same thing. Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's my guess.
That's a lot of money.
So, Mike, we're recording this before the Eagles-Washington game, immediately before. Also, I'm wearing DraftKings underwear. Did you get your DraftKings underwear in the mail?
Spike, I'm also wearing DraftKings underwear. I'm wearing it right now.
So am I. Can I see? I mean, do you want
No, you can't see it. But
do you want to see,
you can trust me. I don't want to see yours either.
Okay.
But I trust you, and I hope you trust me that we're both wearing it.
Okay. This is like the Wayne's World scene with the sponsors, with the state side of the... Anyway, thank you, DraftKings, for sending the underwear. So people won't hear this until likely after the game or maybe even during the game. Just a couple of quick questions for you. The Eagles are -9 today against Washington. What side would you take?
I mean, they better.
Yeah.
Like, they better. It's Garrett Gilbert. If Garrett Gilbert Joe Webbs us, I'm going to be furious. It's a Tuesday night. The memories are bad.
So
they push the game for no reason at all, because as if like in 2 days it'll all be solved. Like, it's going to be very upsetting. If they lose this game, I will help burn the city down.
And Hurts his over-under passing yards is 188.5. I feel like if they win, he throws for like 146 or something.
That might be an under. That might be an under with a win. I might parlay the under with the win.
There you go. Same game parlay it. It is Christmas week. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, wants to hook you up. If you're a new customer, bet $5 on any NBA team and win $150 in free bets if they win. There you go. If you're a new user, use code RTRS. Bet $5 on an NBA team. If they win, you get $150 in free bets. And you can also get in on the holiday free bet surprise. Everyone gets a free bet up to $50 instantly, as DraftKings gives away up to $10 million in prizes. Love DraftKings. They sent us underwear. Fucking love it. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now.
We really didn't plan. I didn't tell you I was wearing the underwear, and you never tell me what underwear you're wearing. So this is a real coincidence.
You sure you don't want to see it?
I'm positive. Yeah.
Okay. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code RTRS. Bet just $5 on any NBA team, win $150 in free bets if they're victorious. It's promo code RTRS this Christmas week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA and of Christmas. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or PA only, new customers only, minimum $5 deposit, $1 wager required, one per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. There are a couple roster moves, and I think there was some sadness, and there was also some excitement. Let's go with the sadness first. The Sixers waived Grant Riller.
Just a real bummer that he couldn't get healthy.
Yeah.
Like, he had the meniscus and then he had the shoulder, and then he decided, like, because of the chaotic nature of this year, he should just, like, get the surgery on the shoulder and then basically shut himself down for the season, which is really sad. He's an NBA player. 100% he's an NBA player. He didn't get a chance to show it for the Sixers, but there was some report, I forget where I saw it, but like this, it's like they plan on being a part of his future in some way. Like, I think in some respects, if he comes back next year, maybe they have another two-way spot for him or a 15th roster spot or something. He's a good player, I promise. But he's also injured, and they need the bodies. So they sign Miles Powell, Seton Hall's Miles Powell, Trenton Miles Powell, Gus Johnson, one of the best broadcasters, very clearly, very fun. Had the iconic line in a Seton Hall game where after Miles Powell went crazy, Trenton makes the world takes, which is obviously written on the bridge, which is a very, very bitter bridge that I love.
Yeah,
saying that on a bridge, we need more very like salty things written on bridges. He's great. He's small in that he's 6'1", but he's got a decently long wingspan. I think it's like 6'5" or 6'6", so he can hang a little bit. He just shoots, man. He's an absolute bucket. He is. He was the offense at Seton Hall, and so I'm interested to see what him, like, I was really praying last night as watching the game, like, just allow him, just somebody kick it out to him off the post if they double off his guy, because he's a really good shooter. He shot 45% from three in the G League for the Knicks G League team. He's just solid. Like, I don't think he's not going to be, Marcus Howard is playing minutes for Denver right now, point guard from Marquette. They had a bunch of really great one-on-one battles in the Big East. Both of them are in the top 10 Big East scoring all-time list, which is pretty cool. and that's something I know because me and Patrick were avoiding work the other day by naming the like top 50 Big East scorers of all time, just sort of a window into what my writing process is like. And Miles Powell's good. He's gonna shoot. He's gonna score. Not super athletic, not great defender, not really great passer, but he's gonna shoot, and he's gonna shoot quickly, and that's what the team needs. And I'm excited to see him. Like if he gets hot for like a quarter, I'll just be thrilled about it.
When I was watching his YouTube, the way he shoots, just sort of anywhere quickly, did remind me of the white kid that played again the same year as Kemba Walker in the NCAA. Jimmer Fredette. Like he just sort of like launches from anywhere, doesn't care how covered he is. Like he's very fun to watch. I hope it translates a little bit into the NBA. It doesn't always with players like that because he's not super athletic or anything, but I would love to see. I would just love to have one game where he hits like 6 threes in a quarter or something like that. Yeah.
That's really all I'm asking for. He's not, the upside I don't think is really that much there, but he can score, he can shoot, and the team needs those decision making quickly. And I also feel like with a two-way spot, and the Sixers really haven't, to my knowledge or to my memory, maximized this that much, but having a hometown kid be on the two-way spot and play on the team and be thrilled to be here and be just playing his ass off for his NBA life and trying to maximize it. That's just awesome. That's just really very cool. And for however many games he gets, he might not get any more. I hope he gets an opportunity to shoot a little bit because he really is a special shooter. And the difference between a 6'1" shooter and a 6'6" shooter that gets more opportunities is simply height. It really is. There's plenty of guys that are 6'6" that can shoot and they're like Duncan Robinson. And if Duncan Robinson was 6'1", he wouldn't be in the NBA. It's really just height.
Right. Yeah.
But in the the way Seth Curry he's a very different player. But the way Seth is just you have to, as you get smaller, your window becomes shorter from when you can get. You have to shoot he shot 45% from three in the G League, so he basically has to do that. So it's unlikely he sticks, but give me a quarter and I'll feel absolutely thrilled.
The other thing that happened, I don't know that's happened officially, but it seems like he'll be ready for Thursday's game, is a play. It's rare that this happens. It sort of reminded me of when Brian Colangelo drafted Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot and Furkan Korkmaz for us.
Yeah.
I've been begging the Sixers to sign Tyler Johnson.
You really have.
For 6 or 7 years.
You really have. I have my list of guys is thousands long, and yours is 6 long. Yeah. And Tyler Johnson is one of your guys, so I'm happy for you. You needed it.
Thank you. I turned on Twitter in the middle of the day at work, and there was a lot of people adding me with a Woj tweet, and I was like, "What the hell happened?" I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is real. So I'm glad that everybody thought of me. Thank you, Daryl, for signing Tyler Johnson. I think Tyler Johnson's a winning player. He's probably past whatever prime he has.
Yeah.
But he is a player that the idea of him with the former starting point guard of this team would have worked in that he doesn't really need the ball. He does shoot. He does play defense, all that kind of stuff. But I'm glad to have Tyler Johnson. He's scrappy.
He is scrappy. I don't know that I believe in the shot. I don't know that I believe in the defense. I like that he's ugly as hell because obviously being handsome hasn't worked for this team at all.
No.
If he sucks, if he objectively sucks, will you still ride for him, or will you be I want to know going in, because there's a lot of pressure for him being this is a spike guy. This is a spike guy more than anybody else really in the league. And if he sucks, it's going to come back to you on that. So I want to know going into it. Right now, this might be the best you ever feel about Tyler Johnson. So I want to know, if he makes plays and if he wins them a game or has a couple big moments, then you'll get to luxuriate in that. But if he sucks and is this guy's washed as hell, are you going to say that?
So this reminds me. I always say this about getting a job or actually graduating college is actually similar. When you get a job and you're in the field that I am, the best day of that job is the day that the press release comes out. And then everything after that is just work or whatever. So the best day of them signing Tyler Johnson is them signing Tyler Johnson. I will ride for him. I do think it's possible that they got him late. But I might as well just defend him at every turn going into this, and that's what I'm going to do. And I still don't know what number he's going to be. Is he going to be? Do we have an 8 on the Sixers?
I don't know.
I don't know what number he's going to be. I will order a jersey almost right away. This is an enormous moment for me. I hope when they eventually make the Portland trade that they get Anthony Simons, but like Tyler Johnson is the guy. So really, really excited.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the things, obviously, COVID is extremely frustrating in the league. That Adam Silver was on with Malik Andrews on NBA Today. Is that what it's called? About not shutting down the season.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, the players are going to get COVID anyway, whether they're here or they're not. I think what they could do is institute fewer fans or mandatory masking or mandatory vaccinations, or maybe like more space between the players and fans like they used to have, or whatever the league can do to like help the support staff that's not wealthy owners and athletes and stuff. People have to work for the teams in the arenas and stuff. If there's ways to do that, be like, because they're putting them in harm's way, even though they would be in harm's way back home as well, but they're like in it for their job, and I hope they're doing whatever they can, and Adam Silver is like making that a point. I don't know if he is or not, but
by the way, as an aside, and you can listen to 10 different experts say 10 different things, but the couple of people that Pablo Torre had on to talk about all of this, like he asked him, he was like, well, should they have less fans? And he goes, if it makes you feel better, sure. He goes, but if somebody's right next to you or 1 seat away from you, he goes, your risk is essentially the same. So, but who knows, right? So I continue anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
who knows?
It's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not particularly surprising that they're saying like they're going to keep the league going. It doesn't surprise me at all. Another reason to do it would be to if they were to shut down the league for a month, whatever, would be to serve as an example to the rest of the country, like they did last March. Like when the NBA shut down, it was in 2020 a holy shit moment kind of thing. And if people see stuff happening and people eating inside and all the stuff, then people are like, okay, it's probably not that bad, that kind of thing. They clearly don't want to do that, whatever. But I will say, all of these, everybody being put into COVID protocols and the NBA Players Association and the league coming together and being like, we need to have more roster spots, and allowing those players to get like a ton of players that wouldn't have gotten NBA opportunities to get whatever 10-day contracts or 2-way contracts or whatever it is. That rules. That's very exciting. And I obviously love fringe NBA guys. They're like my favorite kinds of players, either like the best players in the league or guys that are just like fighting their ass off to get a roster spot and could help, that aren't that much worse than the like 8th player on the roster, but because they have the reputation that they do, then they get contracts, whereas the 16th player on any roster or almost making a roster wouldn't. But I think it's cool. I think that's a shitty benefit, but it is one of the nice benefits of like, hey, these guys are getting to play in the NBA. Miles Powell played in the NBA last night for the first time. Like, that rules. So I'm happy for those guys.
By the way, it means teams, like, there's less chance of them having to play 45 minutes or somebody, you know,
and get hurt more.
Yeah, the benefit of that. Yeah,
which the Sixers had to do a bunch of times, like during the past 2 seasons, which sucked.
I think the way, like, there's a million different ways to handle this. I actually don't see anybody that's handling it a way that I feel like is objectively wrong or crazy. It's just people are trying to get through it, and this is the way that they're trying to get through it. And, you know, this is a fun way, like, candidly, to see, like, they weren't going to sign Tyler Johnson.
Yeah.
And the 10-dayers, you know, the story, the
Jordan Shackle's getting contracts, San Diego State. Like, there's fun guys.
The
like,
Miles
all of a sudden,
Powell story is fun. Like, all that stuff is
it's
fun.
Cool.
So.
And also, obviously, get your booster. If you haven't gotten your booster, get your booster. They said 65% of booster-eligible players have gotten them, and a very small number of those players have had breakthrough cases, and almost all of them or all of them have been asymptomatic. So please get your booster. Stay healthy. Let's keep this thing going.
So before we get to a very deep dive from our producer, CJ, the first work he's done as a producer of the podcast on the Sixers' new partnership with a made-up company from China, a shell company from China, I would like to thank Nick Mead. Nick Mead is the U.S. rowing male athlete of the year, and he is a Ricky listener. And he swore in his acceptance speech he would mention the podcast. Mike, here is Nick Mead.
There are too many people who have helped me over the past 12 years to possibly thank in a 1-minute speech. So I'll just mention a few important institutions that have been key to my and my teammates' success at the training center. Firstly, Island Taqueria, for sustaining the entire Oakland Training Center, no matter what hour or day, except on Sundays. Secondly, to the Philadelphia 76ers, my friends at the Right to Ricky Sanchez, for teaching me to always trust the process, even in the darkest days when progress is slow and the wins are hard to come by.
There's not enough time to thank anyone, so let me just pick out these few important institutions.
Yeah.
And we got now getting listed behind the Sixers.
Right, I noticed that also.
Yeah. I don't love it. I don't love that part, but
It seemed like the Sixers have only harmed you
yeah.
in ways. But
And-
I get why you want to be like, here's a funny thing. I'm not just going to say the Rights to Ricky Sanchez on its own.
Right.
Because that is too weird. But if
yeah.
I couch it behind the Sixers, then maybe it sort of like creates an umbrella of safety. And I get it. I get why you did that. But
Maybe
it
he
was
wants to ring the bell.
That's actually a good move. He'll probably ring the bell.
Yeah.
That's actually true. They had the fucking
TikTok girls.
YouTube people, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you said we should ring the bell. It's embarrassing that we haven't. I've called Josh Harris a fuckface quite a lot. And so
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
surprised
tough.
that he doesn't want to be extending his fuckface hand to us to allow us to ring the bell, which we rightfully deserve. But, you know, I hope rowing Nick gets a chance to ring the bell and wear a Ricky shirt when he does it.
Before we get to CJ and the shell company, Adam Ksebe and his team of realtors are not a shell company. They're a real company. They do not specialize in hiring famous people to teach classes online or whatever. Adam Ksebe, the Process Realtor, Ksebe. Been telling you, Ksebe is your guy and Kasebe's team to buy a house at the Delaware beaches or in Maryland. He has all of Delaware covered. Delaware beaches, low property tax, yada, yada, yada. Or if you're going to buy a house anywhere else, you need a realtor. You go to Adam Ksebe. He gets you the right realtor, Ksebe, or if you need to refinance. But I'm going to give you a piece of urgency now because mortgage rates are going to go up. Interest rates are going to go up. It's going to happen next year. I know it's a crazy market right now, but you don't want to do it when mortgage rates go up, and that's why you need Ksebe now. That's why you need somebody you can trust. That's why you need somebody who isn't a shell company from China. Adam Ksebe, Ksebe. He's taking care of you at the Delaware beaches. He is taking care of you the rest of the state of Delaware. He is taking care of you in Maryland. I needed to buy a house in New Jersey. I went to Ksebe, find me a realtor, found me TJ. Not that TJ. I needed Ksebe, find me a realtor, found me a realtor to sell my house. Adam Ksebe is the only guy you need, especially in this market. 302-864-8643. 302-864-8643. That's a cell. You can call him. You can text him. You can double check how to spell his last name. Adam Ksebe, 302-864-8643. Based out of Long and Foster in Bethany Beach. All right. So Sixers announced a partnership this week, and I did not have really enough time to spend looking it all up. So Color Star Technology is the name of the partnership. There was a picture of Chris Heck shaking hands with what appeared to be a younger Chris Heck in announcing this partnership. And I asked on Twitter.
There are so many Chris Hecks in the world. It's an unbelievable amount. It's 30 to 60 Chris Heck feral hogs just out there in everyone's backyard waiting to be hired as someone's team president.
So I asked on Twitter, I said, could somebody break this down for me? And then I snarkily said, wish we had a producer to do this. And I got an angry text message from CJ. I emailed you about this and you never responded.
I love it. Fuck him up, CJ.
That's what happened.
Which is true. So, CJ, do you want to tell us what this is and why it's so strange? Because it is fucking strange. And all you need to do is go to their Twitter account to see how fucking strange it is.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Welcome to my presentation. This is The Sixers Are Fucking Weird. My name is producer CJ for the rights to Ricky Sanchez. So on December 20th, the 76ers announced the partnership with Color Star Technology. ColorStar is an entertainment technology company with a global network that focuses on the application of tech and artificial intelligence in the entertainment industry.
Okay, so I don't know what that means. Am I supposed to know what that means?
I think they purposely make it a little confusing.
Yeah.
And as you find out, a lot of this is very new to them.
Yes, they weren't always a tech company.
Weren't always.
Yeah.
They're trading at 52 cents a share right now, which is, a little odd. Penny stock dealing. They want to focus on the rapid development of core technologies, such as its Metaverse and non-fungible token products.
There we go. That which lines up their partnerships also. And if you're listening to this, there's a visual part of this on YouTube. Can you go back, CJ? I joked just one slide. I joked about the other guy looking like a younger Chris Heck. He does look like a bearded Chris Heck, right? I mean, his hair goes the same way. They look almost like a Spider-Man meme.
There's more on him later, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so next.
We are thrilled to partner with the Philadelphia 76ers, a top-level NBA team, says Lucas Caption, CEO of ColorStar Technology. Two things I want to focus on. He noted us as being a top-level NBA team. Very bold of him to say.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure if it's Caption or Capetian, his last name, but I have reason to believe that this man doesn't exist, so I don't really feel bad about mispronouncing his name.
Is that the guy that shook hands with Chris Heck or no?
Yeah, so that would raise some questions as to who is this guy, who is Lucas. So the former CEO...
Can I say, just real quickly, because when you go to the company's website that owns them, the whole thing looks like it is written with Google Translate from a different language. And that's what this quote looks like to me. We are thrilled to partner with the Philadelphia 76ers, a top-level NBA team, is like written by somebody who doesn't even know what that means, or maybe a computer, I think.
Yeah, I'm leaning computer, but it could be either way.
Okay.
So the former CEO of ColorStar was named Basil Wilson. He started the position in June of 2021 and resigned 6 days ago. 6 days ago, making Luke the third CEO in under 1 year. The third CEO of this company in under a year. No evidence suggests that any of these people are real.
Talk to me about this picture.
Yeah.
More coming soon. The SEC press release refers to Lucas, the new CEO, as Sir Lucas. That's his name, Sir Lucas. Hat tip to Dan McQuaid on Twitter for pointing that out.
Yeah. A little bit like when you're on whether it's College Hoops 2K8, shout out Ricky O'Donnell, and all of a sudden your players' names are just randomly generated.
Yes.
Yeah, precisely. So I'm sure we noticed these pictures. These are grabbed from his LinkedIn because that is the only social medium that he appears to have if you look at all scopes of the internet.
It looks like a Game of Thrones thing.
It looks like something that was made in Unreal Engine. He posted these pictures accompanied by a thread of NFTs and the future of NFTs. It was a very simple explanation of it, but you can tell that I guess these are the NFT version of Lucas. But it doesn't end here. He has multiple poses. This one, he's sitting on thin air. And
so casual.
Yeah, in his fur armor.
Shoulder pad.
But if you're a CEO, you need to have armor.
Yeah, of course.
And
you never
boots.
know.
Yeah.
You never know the next CEO that could come in. It was reported that Basil Wilson resigned due to health issues. So maybe, I'm not putting anything out there, but maybe Luke had something to do with it.
Look, not existing is a very serious health problem that people are dealing with.
Very true. Very true. So he has a ton of these style of photos. So Luke...
This is great too. The Harvard thing is great.
Luke claims to have graduated from Harvard Business School with an, and I quote, Executive Master of Business Administration master's degree per his about section on LinkedIn.
And this picture looks like, so when you're on a TV show and you have like actors come into wardrobe and they try something on, you get these like very like general pictures of what they look like wearing whatever wardrobe the character should be wearing. And they always look so kind of like uncomfortable. Sometimes they make like it look fun about it, but it's never like a cool picture, like, because it's just an uncomfortable way to be like, hey, here's what I'm wearing. Do you like this, showrunner? And this, whatever animated character looks so like, is this cool? Like, do you guys like what I'm wearing? And he's in like a skirt and like high boots and leggings and also like sort of a very like a shawl of some sort and so many like buckles and things. And if I was a showrunner, I'd be like, please give him something else to wear, something more normal, please.
It also looks like if you're dressing your character, you just got like 600 gold, and you can dress your character, and you're trying on the different things you can pay, like you can buy with the 600 gold, and he'll spin around so you can see the back of it. So, and there's no such thing as this degree.
Yeah, getting there. So he mentions master twice in the title. It's the executive master's of business administration master's degree.
Yeah,
that's not a typo. He put that in there. I didn't put master's twice. The interesting thing when you go to his education tab is that it says he has an MBA in destructive growth.
That makes perfect sense to me. Obviously, when you're trying to grow, you want to destroy things in your wake.
Yes, of course. And he graduated in December of 2021.
Yeah, fresh.
He just graduated. So, Lucas, congratulations on your new position as the CEO.
Oh, he just graduated this month?
Per his LinkedIn, yes, he just graduated this month. And then, of course, Spike mentioned before, hat tip to @DLAOT1 on Twitter. The Harvard Business does not offer an executive master's program. This is
but their destructive growth program is impeccable.
Yes, of course, top in the nation. So we got to ask, who are these fellows? We did a little deep dive into the CEO and what they stand for, but we want to know a little more about the history. So Colorstar Tech was formerly known as Hawaii Tau Technology. They changed their name in May of 2020 and was formerly a professional company specializing in concrete production and education services. Hat tip to Nova Philly on Twitter for that one. So they spent most of their time as a company doing concrete business. When you
go to the website that owns this thing and they talk about this company, one of the things that is a picture example of what they do is like a concrete brick.
They're the best.
Cool.
So
moving on.
So they went from maybe the most fungible thing there is, which is building concrete, to the least fungible thing.
It's non-fungible.
Non-fungible.
It's not fungible at all.
Yeah, you're right.
They're big builders.
Yep.
What do they do? What type of product do they have out now that we can get? Well, they do have an app. Mm-hmm. There is an app called Color World that you can get. It's on the App Store.
Sure.
However, it has the interface of an app that was developed in 2009. It focuses on educational courses such as Shake Your Hips and Hum Practice.
As an entertainment professional, I need these things. This is all very helpful.
Yeah. It has 281 ratings, nearly 5,000 less than the rights to Ricky Sanchez. But they claim to have
That's shade. And I won't tolerate shade for the Sixers' new partner that they're so excited to partner with.
That's fair. I want some constructive criticism here. They claim to have over 1 million registered users, which seems a little fishy that they only have sub 300 ratings. Their Twitter and IG social presence, not the best. It ranges from, as you see here to the left, stock photo Happy Halloween post with ugly QR codes. With QR codes and...
What does a QR code take you to?
I guess someone's about to find out.
Happy Halloween. And obviously you need to get your phone out to click on some shit.
I assume it's a download link to the app for Color World.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it on the website. It doesn't work doing it on the screen.
It is as stock photo-y as they can get. But then
they
have these photos, but then they also have these HTML style press releases that are completely cut off. Like you go to the Instagram post and you can't see the beginning of the sentence. It's cut off the second half of a paragraph and it's only half of the screen, but they make sure to add those QR codes in.
So my antennas are up. That's the first thing. Everything else seemed cool to me, and now, but not having a full press release where half of it's cut off, my interest is piqued a little bit. Yeah, and I'm asking some questions.
It just takes you to the app. That's what the QR code is.
That's what I figured.
And the Twitter header advertises the Fearless Color World online concert.
Yes, and it goes without saying that pretty much everything that they post is very, very low pixel quality. So if you click it to enhance it, it is not making it any clearer. You are having a very difficult time making out whatever they are trying to display.
Pixels are so expensive these days.
Yeah.
Spend all their
Especially
money.
when they're not fungible.
Yeah.
If they were still fungible, if they're still into fungible.
Sure,
goods.
then you can expand,
Right.
you can enhance, but
Yeah.
if they're not fungible, you can't. They're all. It's blurry. Fungibility makes things blurry, and that's something that I understand.
So for the big Color Star fans out there, I'm sure you noticed a little sneak peek of what's to come in the Instagram picture that Red Phoenix Entertainment liked the photo. Who is Red Phoenix Entertainment? Red Phoenix Entertainment is the broker that dealt with this partnership. They work with American athletes to increase their global presence. They seem to be focused on Japan, with former projects with Shaq, James Harden, Kobe Bryant, and more. As you can see here, James Harden wearing his Rockets red.
And that's really the only reason why I'm not a professional athlete, is that and a really good professional athlete, is that I would be really bad at taking these random ass pictures with just like generic guys in suits where they're putting their hands in such strange positions where I have to pretend like, this is cool, I'm so happy to be here. And I wouldn't be good at that. And so that's the only reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not accusing anybody in this picture of anything like this. I want to be clear of that. But like, this is how you end up in a picture with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, this is
right.
how, again, I am not accusing anybody in this picture of this, but that's why you don't take pictures like this.
No,
'Cause you
for
don't
sure.
know who-
And it seems like this whole ordeal is like only by sheer luck and maybe his death why Jeffrey Epstein is not involved in this situation entirely.
Right, yeah.
It's not like they were like trying to avoid Jeffrey Epstein. It's just luck.
Yeah.
So let's circle back.
Yeah.
Who is this man?
I would love to know.
Of course we know it's Chris Heck to the right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
How can we miss him?
New Philadelphia Chris Heck.
Yeah.
New Philadelphia Chris Heck. And then it looks like we have new Philadelphia Chris Heck shaking his hand. You would think, maybe, is this Lucas? Is this the CEO? Is this the man behind Color Star Tech N1 on Twitter? No, it's not. His
is
name is Jerome Heaps. He is a representative.
What's his last name?
Heaps.
Spell it.
Heaps.
That's not a name.
Yeah.
That's not a name at all. That's a computer generated word.
Yeah. They have heaps of NFTs.
He is the vice president of a private equity firm based in New York City.
Sure. So Josh Harris is in.
That's all you can find about this man. The template that I used for this presentation was a book review, so it gave me this at the end. So I thought I would give it 1 star. Why 1 star? Why not 0? Because the colors are pretty fucking cool. They match well with the Spectrum aesthetic.
Yeah.
They match well with the city jerseys. They match well with the new stateside.
Surfside. Yeah.
Yeah,
Surfside vibes.
nobody has issues. The colors are immaterial to our problems here. Colors are fine.
Real quickly, the rest of the quote from Lucas Capetian. We hope that this cooperation can enrich the content of our Metaverse platform, Color World, and hope
Great.
that through NBA games and events, global audiences would have access to and learn more about our Metaverse platform. We are sure this will be a win-win partnership.
Cool.
We believe a more in-depth strategic partnership with the 76ers will come along in the future.
Awesome.
Yeah. Through the partnership with the Philadelphia 76ers, we would attract more users and attention to engage the Color World platform. We would. Again, that sounds like Google Translate, doesn't it?
Isaiah Joe is going to get abducted, and he's just going to show up in the metaverse in a Color World jersey and not be able to be escaped or found. And that's tough for us.
Well done, CJ.
Thank you. I close with when will it end? And I hand the mic off to Spike to give his CEO story.
story.
Oh my God, what a
Right.
1-2.
And that's how we will wrap it up with the CEO story right after.
Wait, can we?
What?
I just want to react to that first for a second. Like, is this a Tad Brown thing? Like, is Tad at fault here? Is this?
What are they doing? What are they doing? This is their Twitter handle has like a 1 on the end of it. It's like Color World 1. It doesn't have like even Color Stack Tech 1. What are we doing here? What
Can anybody just become a Sixers partnership? Does it cost like $20 of fake online money?
is it?
It
The
seems very.
76
It seems
Club,
very, very.
or-
This whole thing is very, very bizarre. It's funny to like make fun of Jonah Bolden and Tobias and whoever is getting involved in this fake shit. But like when the entire Sixers organization is like, we're pivoting from crypto.com because the Lakers took it to this like fake company with a pretend person who is just like, you know, producing concrete 6 months ago. It doesn't like give, I don't think people are like, oh, this reflects poorly on Daryl. I don't think it does. It's not really under his purview, at least most of it.
Partnerships.
But like, it doesn't make me feel good about like the state of the organization that they can get duped by a fucking like fake company that has no real people working for it, that is just like putting everything into some sort of Google device that goes like, and this is our statement. It's not great.
Do you
I'm
remember,
drunk enough to say I don't like it at all.
Do you remember when the city of Philadelphia paired up with that company to give everyone vaccines, and like 2 weeks into it was a total clusterfuck, and the company was like, whoops, we don't even know how to do this.
Yeah,
we don't even know why they
slack,
said yes. Yeah.
Sure. Very cool. It's real. You like, look, you forgive Manti Te'o for being like, okay, it's you could be duped by anybody online. I've never met CJ, and him and I have had such a beautiful relationship together.
Yeah.
But like when
I've
a
never
whole
met CJ.
corporation that is worth a lot of money, that we have a podcast about, and like a lot of people give a shit about, like nobody gives a shit about like pick a rent, like you don't have fans of like T-Mobile, like who cares? But like the Sixers have like they have season ticket holders and people that root for them and want them to succeed. And when they're like, yeah, we paired up with like a phishing email, like we got phished, that's our sponsor, like that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign.
Yeah. Scott O'Neal would never.
Scott O'Neal would never do this, and I was so pro Tad.
Yeah.
I was a big Tad head.
So speaking of Scott O'Neal, we have a CEO story coming up in a second. First, I want to tell you about a real company that makes fungible dog beds. That's right, Big Barker. Actually, there was a new Big Barker Process Pup that we put up on the Instagram. Hold on, let me get that dog's name because it's a cute little thing. Ivy. Ivy is now a Process Pup. Big Barker therapeutic dog beds. I'm heading down to the Philadelphia area to bring my dog to see my wife's family for Christmas, and I have to bring the dog. I always have to bring the Big Barker because he will sleep nowhere else. If you have a dog and your dog doesn't have a Big Barker and you listen to this podcast, sometimes people email me and they're like, "Oh, you guilted me into getting it." Good. You should be guilted because your whole job as a dog owner is to give that dog their best life. To have their best life, they should be comfortable when they sleep, they should be happy, and they should be healthy. This dog will keep this dog, it's not a dog, I'm not selling you a dog bed. This bed will keep your dog healthy. This is the only dog bed engineered by experts to keep your dog healthy, to keep their joints away from the effects of arthritis and aging and those sorts of things. And you might say, well, my dog's not that old yet, but your dog will get older. And the way that your dog sleeps now will affect your dog's energy, your dog's mobility, your dog's comfort as they get older. Don't fuck around. Get a real dog bed. Get a Big Barker. Is it more expensive than the dog bed that you're going to find in a pet store? Yes, it's more expensive, but it's better. It's proven by Penn Vet to do all of these things, from tiny dogs to big dogs. Even though it's called a Big Barker, there's all different sizes. And again, expensive, yes, but 10-year warranty. The foam does not flatten, or they replace it for free. A 1-year at-home trial. Try it for a full year. If you don't like it, if your dog doesn't like it, they'll give you a full refund, even pay for the shipping. Handmade in the USA. Big Barker dog beds.
Can you hear my dog?
Yeah, actually woofing. Amazing. Oh, by the way, when you go to bigbarker.com/Ricky, you not only get the bed, you get the patch as well. So I promised a CEO story, and everyone expected a Scott O'Neal story. But there's not a Scott O'Neal story. No. There was a CEO immediately before Scott O'Neal, and his name was Adam Aaron. Adam Aaron was the first CEO that the Sixers had after Josh Harris and David Blitzer bought the Sixers.
Yeah.
He meant well. He always looked like a guy that worked at Radio Shack or something, and how he dressed. He wore like khakis and a blue blazer all the time, and he didn't know anything about basketball. And he was the one that loved the giant T-shirt guns and confetti and all that kind of shit. And he used to go around the venue like just talking to fans. And the team sucked, and they had Doug Collins or whatever. And he sort of seemed like a used car salesman, but he was a nice guy. He was always nice to me. So now he is the CEO of AMC Movies. And he tweeted, if you're watching on YouTube, can you put it up there, CJ? He tweeted the other day a photo of him in a black and red flannel shirt and khakis, giant khakis. Join me tomorrow, December 19th at 7 o'clock at AMC Lincoln Square in New York City as I personally host an advanced screening of the highly enjoyable The King's Man. A few seats left. I'm giving everyone in attendance a free soft drink and free popcorn. And folks, I know my popcorn.
Okay.
So I respond, Adam, am I invited? Now, like, I've responded to 100 Adam Aaron tweets, and since he rid himself of the Sixers, he never responds to any of them. So
No.
I didn't expect him to. It was performative.
He did one time after Spencer Hawes had a good game, like, sort of not even subtweet me, but like
Yeah.
call me out for like, isn't he good now?
Well, he
And
used
obviously, Spencer Hawes, very famously successful NBA player that led many teams to championships.
he used to, after Sixers games, which is when I would be on WIP late at night, he called in a few times based on what we were saying.
Did? I didn't know.
He did, yeah. So anyway, so I respond, and 5 minutes later, I noticed I have a text message.
Wow.
Of course you are invited, he texts me. I'm stunned. I also don't want to go to the movies on Sunday night, but if there's a story to be had, I don't know, maybe I'll do it. I respond back, haha, hey man, let me ask my wife. I work in New York now, but we live in New Jersey. Great to see that you're doing well.
And he's in your phone as at CEO Adam.
No, so I haven't texted or talked to him on the phone in probably 10 years.
Okay. I'm trusting you about your boxers, so I'm trusting you about this Adam Aaron information.
But CJ covered up his number up there. I just knew it was him. So his response, that's right. He tells me the tickets are pretty cheap, but good seats are going fast.
That's good. I
and
like that.
text me the link to AMC Theaters.
Yeah,
to buy
helpfully, here's the link.
He was the same link that was in his fucking tweet. I sent this shit to my brother. He was like, Adam Aaron nailed you. I mean, he just fucking obliterated you in text message, right?
What is the notification silent thing?
So what happens is if you turn your iPhone on silent or you're driving or something, when someone's texting you, they get that thing that the notifications are silenced. So if you don't respond, they know that you're not getting notifications. So not only did he send me the ticket link that it said good tickets are going fast, he then silenced his phone so he would not see if I respond.
Good. No notes for Adam. Doing his job.
You fucking nailed me.
Yeah. Famously decided to not allow masks in AMC or not require masks in AMC theaters because he didn't want to be political.
It was, come on. It was
Smart. Look, avoiding politics is how to handle that is by allowing people to get very sick at your venue.
They changed their guidance almost immediately. It was right.
Absolutely. But I stand by him initially when he was saying like making any decision whatsoever is political, so I'm not going to make one. Good job.
Yeah. Well, I guess I appreciate you for having my back on this and going right at it, roasting him at something.
He should have given you free tickets. I'm really bad at asking for free tickets, so it is on. If you're going to ask me to come someplace and you wanted to give it to me for free, you have to just say that because I won't ask because I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to ask. I was just assuming he was offering, right? Like,
right.
But that first text, that's pretty much I should assume that he's offering there, right?
I don't know. He's saying, I would love for you to be there. I'm going to take the time to look you up on my phone, see I have your number, and text you a link to the tickets. The idea that I would not take some of that sweet $17 from you, I get it.
Tickets are going fast.
They're going fast, so hustle.
Finally, we leave you with a mailbag email from a disturbed listener. He was disturbed with us. Writes RickySanchez@gmail.com. Remember to send us one basketball, one non-basketball question. Hey, gang, enjoy you both. Have listened since the first episode. Was listening to the podcast Saturday with you all and the, quote, real O'Connor, and couldn't believe you guys were all on board with tanking. This is absurd.
I'm not on board with tanking.
LOL. Well, just let me finish the.
Okay, I wanted to clarify.
Well, this is absurd. LOL. COVID has ravaged the team, and even when they come back from COVID, it may take weeks for them to get back from normal. The quote possible Simmons trade and the lack of moving forward at a certain pace is a form of quote process. I think it will ultimately pay off if we wait a little longer and if we have enough on the team to be a top 5 seed in the East until the trade happens. The losses hurt, and it's hard not to take them personally, but I thought both of you believed in Morey. It's best to wait. The disappointing part of the podcast the other day was you guys admitted you were jealous of the Cavs. The Cavs, a team with no expectations and young talent on their way to the first-round exit in the playoffs if they make it. Based on one of the reports that came out a few months ago, Ben basically said the expectations were too high because of the success the team experienced his first full year and wasn't allowed to quietly grow like Giannis was. We don't want to be like Ben. We're better than this. What good would the 9th pick do? It's frustrating, but it's for the best. Enjoy the holidays.
I'm only jealous of the Cavs in the sense that like they're good and they didn't think they would be. And Evan Mobley is great. Love Evan Mobley. Darius Garland keeps improving.
Darius Garland's awesome.
And they have a bunch of good, I think they'll probably land in the play-in. They keep beating teams, which is pretty wild. And Rubio's playing very well. I think they'll still probably land in the play-in. I think the Sixers will probably also land in the play-in or the 6th seed. I think the idea that they host a playoff series this year is gone pretty much. I just don't. Yeah. I don't think it's possible. But I don't think they should tank. I mean, Embiid they have Embiid. Like, if Embiid is healthy, they shouldn't tank. That is the opinion I had last podcast. That's the opinion I had now. He's had a middling year, some due to COVID, some due to like the players around him, and some due to him just missing some shots.
Can I ask though, because you were in the podcast, and so I was in the podcast too, and I know a lot of people overreact to everything. I thought the conversation we had was a sensible conversation that showed all around the issue, the pluses and the negatives. And even when MOC said he was jealous of the Cavs, he was saying because there weren't any expectations and it was fun. And I thought the conversation overall was a really like thoughtful, interesting, thought exercise of, would you do this? And I think we all pretty much thought that you don't even really do this until the trade deadline anyway, so whatever. I look at the Sixers and you're still waiting on the Ben trade, and your point that you've made on a couple pods is that like they didn't plan on having this season where just a max contract black hole is keeping them from on the court or acquiring someone who would fill that spot. Yeah, and the Simmons thing too, in addition to Harris.
Not bad. Not bad. And so we're waiting for that to happen, and they're bad. Like, they're bad because of it. It's not unreasonable that they're bad. It's not it's surprising that they're bad. It's surprising that Tyrese Maxey has been at times as good as he's been. I wouldn't trade places with the Cavs. I think Embiid is still a better player and projects to be a better player than Evan Mobley, but they're fun to watch. They're easy to watch. If they win 2 playoff games, their fans will be like, fucking awesome, rightfully so. But the Sixers right now are just like they've just always had a ton of expectations, and right now they're just not good enough. And part of it is the Simmons thing. Part of it is signing a ton of guys and re-signing guys that are slow. And you just want around a post player guys who can make quicker decisions and also shoot when like he's going to clean up their defense no matter what. Yeah, I mean, we're just in a place where we're just in a holding pattern, and it's weird to do 2 podcasts a week and have to have different takes about like the holding pattern we in. But wow. Embiid's really good. Like, he had an incredible game against Boston. Obviously, it was Enes Kanter and he sucks, but like he was getting doubled all the time, and he moved the ball well for the most part. He hit a ton of crazy shots. I love him, and I never want to tank with him on the team. I have no interest in tanking with him healthy. If he gets hurt, then it's a different story. But if he's there, I think the Sixers owe it to themselves. They owe it to Embiid and some other like helpful players on the roster to just like try to add that second piece that would blend with Maxey. Because I really like Maxey. I like Maxey more than you do. I probably like him more than MOC does. Even though he's still young, he's going to make mistakes. If you can have a guy that becomes a 2-way wing type, Jaylen Brown, even Brandon Ingram, like even Zion, if he gets healthy, like there's some guys out there. There's not, I don't know. We have no idea. No one knows what the trade negotiations are actually like and what Ben's trade value is at actual places and what Daryl's holding on for. It's going to be more than CJ McCollum because he's just not good enough, because Seth is basically as good as CJ McCollum right now, or almost. You owe it to Embiid and how talented he is to like try to make it work and try to make it work for longevity. Even if it's not the season, even if they make the trade this season, it's still probably not the season. Like we have like a number one guy who is now leading the league. I didn't realize this, but leading the league in like clutch points per game, because like he's just so good. They play a lot
of close games too.
They play a lot of close games, and like he's the guy they're going to, all that stuff. But like he's really good. He's incredible. He's the best Sixer. I would say he's the best Sixer. Or you can argue with Iverson, but I probably would say because of Embiid's impact defensively, he's the best Sixer in my lifetime. And like they owe it to him. They owe it to him to be good, and they owe it to him to try, and they owe it to him to let him try to make it work with whoever the fuck they have around him who's slow as shit.
And to be clear, MOC, the entire conversation was not about restarting the process. It was about 1 year. And the last thing I'd say as a response is, what are you going to do with the 9th pick? Is like, I don't know, man. Would you rather have the 9th pick and lose and not play in the playoffs, or have the 19th pick and lose in the first round? Like that's the conversation, and that's exactly the conversation that we had years ago when people were like, "Oh, you can do it with the 7th pick," and we're like, "Well, would you rather have the 2nd pick or the 7th pick?" I'd rather the 7th pick. Whatever. I don't think they're going to. I don't think it's realistic. I just we got to fucking talk about stuff, and we don't get them doing these partnership deals every week.
Yeah, it's been a conversation around Sixers Twitter and everything, and it's worth like considering the idea, because they're not good enough. They are. I'm not saying they're definitely going to land in the play-in, but they'll be in the play-in conversation until the last week of the season. They're just not good enough to say we're definitely a top 4 seed. They're not, and if they're the 6th seed, then they're in the play-in conversation. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a difficult season, and you can take joy in the things you take joy in, and you can hope for a 9-point Miles Powell quarter that makes it all worth it. But right now it's tough, and you feel for Joel. You watch him like at the ends of games. You watch him feel, and he's like a very, I don't know if non-Sixers fans can watch him and like know what they're feeling, but we've watched Joel enough to feel like we know what he's feeling, and he like really cares, and he really gives a shit. But in games that they lose, you can see him kind of be sluggish, be like not invested, but just like a little bit not all the way present, because he's like, he knows the team's not good enough. He knows it. He firmly knows it. Even if he doesn't believe in Ben, if he's not begging Ben to come back or whatever, because enough's happened between the two of them, there's like, it's over, it's beyond. But you can tell that he is like frustrated in those games. And then when they win, when he makes a big play at the ends of any game, like when he picked off that pass at the end from Marcus Smart off the inbounds, like he throws out these like very visceral, physical, emotive fist pumps that you can tell how much he gives a shit. How much he really, really gives a shit, and he wants to win in Boston. He wants to win in Atlanta because he's pissed off by how like he knows how good he is. He knows when he fucks up. He knows when he's not perfect. And at this point, with his team around him, he basically has to play a perfect game for them to have a shot. And I just I love him so much. I really want them to win for him. I really want them to advance past the second round for him. And Daryl and the rest of the team, and I think us as fans, like owe it to him to like remain invested, even though it sucks right now. And so hopefully a Ben trade happens. I would love it to happen this season. I would love for them to like gear up and feel like there's coalescing around a good playoff run. It's just he's just too good not to, and we've had too many seasons where we haven't had a guy like Embiid to be like, okay, let's just tell him to sit down, because he's great, and we don't know how long it's going to last for, and I love him.
And by the way, I think Mike MOC is directly in between us on Maxey. I think he is not as high as you are, and then team thinks more of him than I do. All right, go Birds, and we will talk to you later this week. We have one more podcast before the end of the year, and then we're not going to do it unless there's a big trade. So we'll talk to you later this week. Go Birds. Are you down with TTP?
Yeah, you know Lickface. Fuck Joe Webb.
If you don't fuck with me, then I won't fuck with you.
If you don't fuck with me,
then I won't fuck with you.
but if you fuck with me,
gonna fucking kill you! Time for plan B.